If you always want your prints to stick, use a glass mirror. I just take it to the sink, wash it out. Dry it. Both sides. And I put an arrow so that way I make sure it goes on the bed the same direction every time. So that way it's less likely for my level to be off when I put it back on. Get yourself a can of Aquanet. Works better than glue sticks because you can get it on even. Glue sticks, I had a tendency of making it really thick in one area and thin on the other area. This makes much easier to level, so I just paint the thing on. Take your arrow. I always have mine facing towards the back. Okay, I've started a print now. If you look under the bed, you can see that I've got wheels on the leveling knobs so that it's easier to turn them. So much easier than trying to grab that little bitty thing. It's definitely worth it in the long run. Now we've got, I like my POA at 195. It doesn't ooze as much. So it's going to run a purge line, get everything flowing good. Now I've unleveled the front two screws just so I can show you. If you run your finger across the bead, see it's not sticking. So you want to turn your knob this way, about that much. And see, that one's not sticking. But I only ever unadjusted the front, so it shouldn't. See, it's really not sticking at all. See, me, since I only unadjusted the front door. See, it's still not sticking. It's not sticking over here, or it's really high. See, it's not sticking, so turn your knob this way about that much, pull it off. And your finger crossed, still a little bit high. Turn the knob. And your finger crossed it. That's a little bit high too. Pull it this way. Pull it this way a little bit. So it's not sticking. So when you have epic fail like this, and it still isn't sticking, stop the crank. Start over. It's not worth even messing with it this way. Get rid of all your crap. If you do quick enough, it shouldn't cool down a whole lot. So we'll go up a little bit more on these. So now it's a lot better, so it doesn't move when I push my finger across it. So that's still a little bit high over here on the back side, so I'm kind of gonna get my hand around here and turn the knob. See the pain in the butt one. Pull all that off while I was doing it. Oh, still too high. Get your hand caught in there. So run my finger across it. So this one actually I over adjusted, so I need to go back up a little bit. It's too flat. It's got to be a little bead, but not too flat. That's pretty close. That one should be just fine. Now, since I use Simplify 3D, I'm able to do multiple processes, so I'm having it print the first layer of all the pieces. There's even one over here. So you can see that peeled up a little bit right there, so it's probably still a little bit too high, but won't worry about it at the moment. If the rest sticks, I won't worry about it. So the Simplify 3D will print the whole first layer, come over here and print the first layer of the piece that goes here, then print all the way up, and then it will print this piece, then this piece, and then this piece, then this piece. The reason I do that is because I can make sure my first layer is good the whole way through. You can see I'm having trouble, so apparently it didn't stick right there. So we'll pause the print and we'll start over. You just keep doing it until you get the whole thing to stick correctly. So I kind of feel it once there. At this point, I've done it a couple times now with not getting it to stick, so what I'll do is I'll throw a little bit more Aquanet just to see how that works. Since the bed is hot, that Aquanet dries up really quick. Now, if you've noticed, I have a CR10 and it normally comes with a Bowden extruder. I've put on a Titan Aero, the E3D V6 extruder, and a pancake motor. Then the air coming through this fan blows across the extruder and then goes in the hole and cools the motor as well. So that motor stays pretty cool even though it's working kind of hard. So now that one feels pretty good. That still feels a little bit too close. Bring it up, bring the bed down just a little bit. Spot right there. Yeah, it's feeling good. Might be just a little bit high right there, since this side's fine. going to worry about it. But see, everything's still sticking when I run my finger across. And if you can touch it, it's sticking good. Probably still just a hair too close to the bed, but not enough to worry about. You get really used to how too high or too low feels. And see, sometimes just playing with your settings in the slicer can give you a really good stick compared to other settings where I had it just do the 2 outer layers and then do an infill. Sometimes some things you want to do like 3 or 4 outer layers depending on the gap between things. Since the gap between the hole and the outer line is really small, I just kept two outer lines. And you can tell if you're a little bit too close, because if you run your finger across here, it will feel really rough like sandpaper. And if it's and you can see all the lines are together. If it was too far away from the bed, there would be a gap between all the lines. It is a little bit too close, like I was saying earlier. It's like it feels a little sandpapery right there. But it's not awful, so I'm not going to mess with it because it'll print just fine. And you always want to be babysitting this thing until the whole first layer is done. Because if it screws up anywhere on that first layer and you've walked away, you could come back and the whole thing could be spaghetti. So, yeah, just sit here and watch it. Touch it. If it slides off, you know you need to start over, because it could slide off later on down the road when it's printing all the way up. And you don't want that to happen, because then you wasted all that plastic. It's better to waste this little bit right now. You could probably quit watching now if you really wanted to, but I'm just continuing to show the whole thing to give you an idea on how you can use Simplify 3D to do one piece at a time and do the first layer completely before it does anything else. I'm not sure if you can do that in Cura, but if you print very many multiple object items, it's definitely worth doing this way. The drawback of having mirrors is it's a little hard to film. But I got this 4-pack of mirrors from Menards for like $10. If you're printing a bunch of things at once, you pull one mirror off, put a fresh mirror on, and you're printing again right away. Then you could leisurely take the new parts off, clean the glass, and put it back into the line of glasses that can be printed on next. So that one's really smooth. That's a really good one right there. Of course, it's hard to show it. Maybe I'll wait till it moves off of it. Uh-oh. Appears that I messed up in Simplify 3D and it didn't go over to the one that prints here. Something I'll have to fix, but you can see now that it's doing the second layer. And it will continue to print on this part until it's completely finished and then move over to the next one.